Okay, what's going on, boys? Welcome back to Tactics Video. Now, today we have the 3-5-2 basically replication. Now, the problem is you don't want to defend in an actual 3-5-2 because you end up having a back three. Because when you use a three-back formation, what happens is that you can't make your left mid and right mids come back like in the olden days. So I've kind of created the 4-1-2-1-2 wide variation, make it like a 3-5-2. Now, listen, if you like playing the 4-4-2, all this formation is instead of a 4-4-2, instead of two CDMs or a 4-2-2, you have a cam. So this means that you're losing one CDM, but you're getting that cam. And this is why I love the formation, because then you have that. This player here is the heart of the formation. This is going to be behind the two strikers. It's going to allow you to have the overload in the middle and have that kind of that diamond as well in the midfield. And of course, you've got the triangle up top with your strikers as well. Do you want to get better at FC25? Now, before you skip ahead, what if I told you if you joined my FC school and you didn't get better after 1 month, I'll refund your money? I can say this because I've been running my FC school for many years and thousands of students join and even stay on. We go over complete in-depth gameplay tutorials showing you both the theory of something and the gameplay examples using real life examples in a structured format that's like a course. The videos on a systematic learning system teaching you everything from the core mechanics, the basics to the meta so you can get better as a whole with explanations that go beyond the scope of my YouTube channel. FC School has already started with every single tactical layout, focuses, meta cards, and learn the meta before it even becomes the meta. So come join thousands of others in a mature audience community for those looking to get better at FC25, patreon.com/nilguides, or click the link down below. Now, when you join, we already have a library of hundreds of videos, more than my YouTube channel, in fact, with new videos on FC25 getting constantly added so you'll never run out of content. The biggest mistake people do is they spend thousands of dollars on FP points every year thinking this will make them better, but it won't. But now it's time for you to make that change. Don't forget, if you don't get better after 1 month, just send me a message and I'll refund your money. That's the Nil Guides guarantee. Links down below in the description, patreon.com/nilguides. So it's very important. So it is basically identical, you could argue, to a 4-2-2, except for the only difference, or let's say you have the lamb and a ram on half wingers, or maybe a bit more, a better example. And that's the code over there if you want to copy it. But I'm going to make some changes I'll show you in a second on how I like to play it instead. But you could argue as a 4-2-2 holding, except for you just move one of the players up to a cam. So we've got advanced forward on Son, and we've got poacher. I think this is the best balance, okay? A mix of both, okay? So one of them is an advanced forward, one of them is a poacher. I like it. The player that's ideally going to run it behind is going to be that poacher. Now, Son is there. Look, I like Son. Even now, it costs 12k. I swear to God, he's one of the best players you can get. Honestly, under 1 million coins. He's perfect in that role. Someone that can finesse shot. Philogene is going there. That's the best Evo you can get right now. I'm waiting for 6 p.m. tonight to see if there's anything on the right-hand side or some mad chain before I do my evolution tomorrow. Always wait to do Evos. Now, the cam. Now, this is the secret, okay? Me personally, I use Shadow Striker. Now, for most people watching this video, Shadow Striker is too attacking. Okay, I understand that because you feel that you're naked in midfield because the front three are too far ahead and you have no one in midfield. This when it can become a bit difficult to play, but this makes it extremely attacking. I think of it like a 4-3. I look at this as a 4-3-3 or 4-1-2. If you think about it, you could call this whatever numbers you want to call it. But basically, you've got one CDM holding the left mid, right mid. I would suggest playmaker for most. Do not put roaming. They want to stay in the middle at all times. I'll put playmaker because it's a bit more balanced, and that way they kind of come back, help defensively. And at least you can be able to go forward as well and not be too far ahead. So I will put the playmaker on balance, and you can always have a separate formation. In fact, I'll have tomorrow a different system for each of these. Left mid, right mid, you have them both on inside forward balance, just for some balance at least. Player words there, but attacking makes it too far attacking. Now, what I've done is doesn't quite smart as well. I have, if I want to change, for example, into a formation where I've got 2 center mids or 2 CDMs, Rashford can kind of play on the right-hand side or whatever, or Martinelli can play both sides. Cunha can play both positions as well. And I can move those players around and do a quick switcheroo. The most important player is this CDM. Okay, now this is the most important. You know when you lose the ball and you have 2 CDMs and you'd be like, oh, you know what? I can take a risk and run out. When you got 1 CDM, you're always going to run back. So whenever you should be doing this anyway, but whenever you get countered, the defensive threat you're going to lose is by having 2 CDMs. So this is, of course, much more attacking than a 4-4-2. You have to be comfortable, and that is why this CDM is on holding, because we have the left mid and right mid providing support on the attack, And that way you have, of course, the attacking 3 up front, and then you have these players providing width. This way we keep the back 4 in shape so we don't get countered. Okay, so obviously someone has to give away, so we give the way to the CDM that becomes the cam. Okay, the thing is that when you lose the ball, the CDM is going to be the sole person covering the middle of the pitch. So make sure you run back. That's why you want to put that play on holding. Don't put deep line playmaker. Don't put wide hop. Don't do anything funky. Even with the backbiters, don't do that. Don't do anything like that. It's honestly not worth it. You're better off putting them on holding, defend. Even if they haven't got a plus, let them sit there. Their job is to sit and close out the danger and protect the back 4. A classic, typical CDM. Okay, back 4. Have them all on fullback, defend. Now, you can, as I said, if you want to really experiment, you can go with attacking wing back. And what this does is, people don't realize this, and this is something that I read a comment on, and I thought this is a really good thing that I forget to mention. How roles work is, they work with each other. So, for example, if Kadioglu is not attacking, then Valverde will basically stay there. But if Kadioglu is overlapping, Valverde will go more inside. So roles and how the players position, they work together. It's kind of like a cohesive shape. It takes kind of like 2 to tango, right? So if Mendy, for example, is on fullback, for example, like this, Mane is going to stay wide and kind of in the middle. If Mendy overlaps, Mane will get pushed on the inside and he can help with the attack. So this is something I want to mention to you. If you want to make a formation more attacking, you could do this, and you could, for example, of course, you're going to be counter-attacked, but at least this way, you could actually defend in that system. Now, the only benefit of this is you could do something like, as an example, you could do a balls back, defend. Now, at least this way is kind of like a real life system, but then at least you have like a 3 back, and at least when you go in your defensive shape, you defend in a 4. That is the biggest issue. So let me just go over quickly. This is it. I got on counter, and I've reduced the depth to 45 because I don't want to be too up the pitch. And this is what I want to mention. This is why it's so important. And why people are thinking, why don't I just use a 3-5-2? If you've been wondering why you can't use it, it's because you can't. I don't know why they haven't done this. Remember how last year you could make these players come back on defense and you're defending the back 5 or 2 CDMs? It was one of the best formations inside the game, the 3-5-2, for the past 4 years. Not the last 2 years, for the past 4 or 5 years, since FIFA 19, in fact. But the downside is that you can't. So that's your shape when you're attacking, and without the ball, you can't defend in a 4-back. So that is why it's better to use some sort of variation of a 4-1-2-1-2 to do it. So we're making a makeshift formation. Now look, there's other different variations. Technically speaking, if you wanted to have this system, now what you can do, I'm going a bit off topic here right now, I am. So when I'm testing some things that I'm trying to figure things out, right? The thing is, you can't make a CDM go forward. So the only way you can make this feasible, realistically speaking, is if you have someone as one of your fullbacks or one of your wingers to go forward. That's a no, guys, top tip, because you can't make a CDM go forward. I wish you could, but you can't. We already know CDMs are very, very OP this year. But what you can do, for example, as a hypothetical example, if I went for a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, for example, like here's something else I'm working on. You might see me test this out a few times when I'm streaming, but let's just say we went something like this. Then I put a half winger like this, and I put this player to a half winger like this. Then I basically have a 3-5-2 like this. You see that? So but you see that the issue with this formation is you're defending too narrow. And when you're defending narrow, we still know the wing areas are it's very easy to go down the wing. So this is why we're stuck. And this is why I've using the 4. And this is for people that really want to improve their knowledge on tactics. This is why I use the 4-1-2-1-2 wide. Because at least I can defend in a defensive shape and cover the wide areas. And then have 2 players on stay forward. Yes, I might lose one that's central players. But at least that way I could defend, be a bit more stable, and cover the wing areas as well. Let's say, I'm not saying you should do this, but let's say I really wanted to be defensive, I could go with something like this. And then I got a more of a defensive shape. And don't forget, you can't make the cam come back. So that's something that you can do as well. And that is basically how I'm basically trying to replicate the 3-5-2 in a system. Give it a go. I would have tried this weekend league. I would say finish your weekend league as it is. because many of you have not played 3-5-2 for quite a long time, and it can take some time to get used to. But sometimes what you could even do in the future is, let's say, for example, we do a wide half, right? Wide half defend, for example. We could have something typical like this, and then we could be very experimental, because then we could do something like, let's just say as an extreme example. And this is why I like these new instructions. You do something like this, right? And then what you could do with Valverde is you put them as a wide playmaker. Then you'll have Valverde that'll be a bit more centralized. Don't put them on the build up. So wide midfielder you want to do. Inside forward is 2 attacking, but if you put them on a wide playmaker, they cannot play like that center mid. So if you wanted to have more midfield presence and have a player going wide and keep a back 4 in shape, this could be something that could be worth it. So this is something I'm just working on. I thought I'd add it at the end of the video just to give you a bit of an insight on some things that I'm working on, because I think it's important to do that. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something either way, and the reasons why I use this formation. It's an attacking 4-4-2. Think about it that way. And remember, if you want to get better FC, come to my Patreon, patreon.com/no guides. But this is a very good tactic. It's being tested out as well. The only thing I would say is just remember, the most important position is that CDM. If you're going to defend, run back. Most remember that. Remember when you play this, run back with your CDM. That's all you got to remember. Thanks for watching. Take it easy, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out, guys.